Food is the problem, and food is the solution. Plus, I got tired of driving 45 minutes round trip to get an apple that wasn't impregnated with pesticides. So what I did, I planted a food forest in front of my house. It's on a strip of land that we call a parkway. It's like 150 feet by like 10 feet. The thing is, it's owned by the city, but you have to maintain it. So I'm like, cool. I can do whatever the hell I want. Since it's my responsibility and I got to maintain it, and this is how I decided to maintain it.
That was a TED Talk by Ron Finley, and I highly suggest everyone check it out. Just Google it, you'll find it, and it's gotten hundreds of thousands of hits because he has started a revolution with something known as guerrilla gardening. Now, of course, the city came down hard on him, and you know, he decided to fight back and rebel. And Andrea, what do you think about this rebellion? I mean, do you think this is a good idea?
Well, first of all, I have a mad crush on him now. I think he's amazing. But secondarily, what about this doesn't make sense? So it's a sort of a triple win. You've got a community that grows around gardening. You've got healthy food for people and access to food where they don't really have fresh markets as easily available as in Beverly Hills, for example. And then also, it saves money. So and it's beautiful. So all of this is a win-win. The idea that any city would have an issue with this doesn't really make sense to me. But beyond all that, I grow tomatoes, for example. If I grow a tomato, I think I am amazing. You know what I mean? Like, you feel proud, you have this tomato, it's amazing, and then I don't waste that because I knew how hard it was to actually grow that individual tomato. So all of this is a win-win. I just see this as being something that'll spread like wildfire, if it isn't already in a bunch of cities.
What brought this to me was the People's Park in Berkeley, California. That was in 1969. That was a bunch of students at Berkeley took over a lot that the university wasn't using, and they started to make it a park. And then Ronald Reagan, who was governor at the time, said, no, you're taking the property away from the university. You're depriving the university of its property rights. And he went in, just like they did with the Occupy movement, and used police officers and basically moved them all out, and a person died in the rioting that came from that.
Wow.
So this is a long time issue that has been broiling here in the United States. And I think that what he's doing is a fabulous idea, done carefully, done with some respect for what you might be getting into. But I like the idea, and I think we should continue to support that. The idea of guerrilla gardening, getting out there, and this is a positive activism, a positive subversive activism that people can take.
Another question that I wanted to ask was, you know, whether or not this is something that you guys do see spreading to other cities. Like, do you see this as civil disobedience? And are government officials really going to crack down on this at some point?
I see it as civil obedience. It's our duty as neighbors and people living in a community to work together to improve our spaces. I don't see it as a guerrilla action.
What I love about that TED Talk is it reminds me of a personal experience, because one person in my life that loves to garden is my mom. And you know, we have a tiny bit of space in our backyard that she uses for gardening, but you know, she also used the space in front of our house, the same space that Ron used, to plant some fruit trees. And oddly enough, there were neighbors that were complaining about it because they thought that she was breaking the law. This isn't wrong. We don't like the fruit trees.
This wasn't a guerrilla act for her, right? This was like, I want decent apricots. And I can't get them at the supermarket because the supermarkets are crappy here. So she grew it herself.
Yeah, absolutely. And her food is delicious.